Going to the shelter after this.
Shake that body, y'all.
Jay's gonna battle.
I got bars.
Jay's gonna battle. It's gonna be crazy.
Low key got
I
bars.
can see it too. Queen of the Ring. They really call that. They really call it that.
That's Remy shit.
It was. No, she was help hosting. Hers is Chrome 23. Yeah. Was that all of it?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yes. I want to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most normal ass Carl. To my front, I have at Juicy J Fox in the house.
Whoa!
And then I
was not expecting her to go.
I know. I wanted her to feel some shine, man. I just wanted her to feel some shine. And also to my front, I have my man at Just Lex, and together we form the Breakfast Club, the white version one, not Charlemagne and them, the white one. the white one. I want that one. Yeah.
I feel like at this point they are the white one.
Oh, you think so? That's kind of crazy. That's conniving.
That's conniving. Shade.
We got to clip that up one day. Listen, so I went to Vegas. I'm a little tired. So I told them off mic, look, I know I've been lying the last 2 weeks and letting things kind of roll out. You know what I mean? But I'm going to try to do a legit hour and a half. You know, I didn't try to search for too much material to get us going. Just wanted to make sure that you guys had something to hold you over. Next week's episode may come out on Tuesday, just so that you guys know that. In observance of the holiday, it's a numbers thing that I like to see because Mondays isn't going to give me a good representation because some of y'all are really going to enjoy your Mondays. So if you work on Monday, sorry, we go with people who have the normal time off. Sorry about that.
What's Monday?
Monday is Labor Day, I believe.
Oh.
In the summer.
In the summer, that's
Hood
it.
in the summer.
Can't wear white. Saw a lot of white when I went to Vegas. A lot of white. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Y'all got about a week left before. I mean, you can do whatever the hell you want to do.
Did they accept you with open arms?
Who?
The whites.
No. I meant like white clothes. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Went to my boy's wedding. Shout out CP and May Wish. They got married. Very small, intimate wedding. Listen, there's nothing worse than homie weddings.
In Vegas, huh?
Yeah, it was. He lives in Vegas.
You made it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I brought that up over the weekend, but I'm not going to bring up the context. Okay, so I'm not going to bring it up. I'll tell you that off mic. So that's that.
You made it?
Yeah, I did go. I did.
know.
But you know what? The way he was talking to me and giving it up, he wanted to make sure I was going. Had nothing to do with not making it to yours. I think he had a lot of people drop out, and it was already small as it is. I think he had like less than 40 people.
I love that.
Yeah, so I was like, and it was at the MGM. It wasn't like nothing crazy. Now, no, I ain't gonna say that either.
I saw some photos. It looked beautiful.
Yeah, it was amazing, and he was. So she is, I believe,
Middle Eastern,
or
Mediterranean.
of Islam faith though.
Yeah, I seen. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I think he was already married, like to her in her faith.
Got it.
Right. So then now it was like, oh, now let's do the whole run of the mill, get the county involved so that we can get everything, straight. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was a good time. This Vegas trip for me, in the last like 8 or 9 that I've done, have progressively gotten to me being older. Right. So like they went out to the club and shit, but I felt like some of the guys didn't bring their wives. So I was like, yo, my wife is out here, bro. Like, I'm not gonna leave her in a room by herself. Like naturally, it's like, oh, you can't go nowhere, huh? No, I can. It's just that I'm not gonna do that to her. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you can't. And then when I saw them the day of the wedding, talking about, oh, we got in at 6 a.m. Yeah, I'm not doing that, bro. I'm sorry. Like I'm not getting in at 6. They look like zombies. And so, like, just the one night last night going out, I was tired. And I was like, yo, like, I woke up at 4 a.m, catch the flight back here, make sure we could pod. So, a lot of dedication to y'all. Fuck y'all. Right, y'all? When we miss an episode, you don't know what I do to get to the episode. My bad.
Right.
And that was a friendly fuck y'all. So,
I was like, we love you.
Yeah. It was a friendly fuck y'all. But, yeah, man. So I was just like, yo, I can't move. Like we went to the game. We went to the Raider 49er game.
Oh, that's fun.
That was dope. Yeah, they stadium is shitting on the one we're renting. So
I like catching a game when I travel places.
Yeah,
like a professional athletic game.
And that's been our wave like lately. So when we went to Miami, we went to a Heat game. We went there. went to that game. We go to like Angel games, Padre games.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to add her stadium list up
Yes,
for different
yeah.
places that we go to. So it's like, yo, let's just keep finding sporting events that we can make it to. Might even take her to a hockey event.
Yeah.
I might think, because I ain't been to one in years since
They're
Jim left.
crazy.
Jim used to take me all the time.
I bet.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, cool trip. How y'all been? And I still got my bone, so don't worry. It's cool. Go ahead. No, it's a friendly bone. Don't worry about it. It's a friendly bone. Hey, we're gonna laugh, all of us. Trust me. I think it's funny, and I know you're gonna think it's funny. You can be like, yeah, he might be right. Maybe. Who knows?
I tried to tell this girl it was a friendly bone one time.
Yeah.
I,
Didn't go off right, huh?
Nah,
Didn't
she
go off
said
right.
I go with her now.
Oh yeah. That's a real
that's
deal
how you've
thing.
gotten every girlfriend you've ever had.
I feel like that happens to men a lot more often. Like a woman presses them, like, yo, like, and us, we don't want to lose it.
So you're like, fuck it. I guess we go.
It's
together.
either you're acting like I'm about to lose it, or you tell me I'm gonna lose it. Either way, you're gonna get the result of me following you home. Nah, I'm just playing. Go ahead, Lex. How you been, bro?
Just maintaining.
That deep side.
Man, it's been a long week, man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. We 1-0.
There you go.
Shout out to East Lake Panthers. We 1-4, 1-3. The Loma Verde Celtics. Whatever that
1-3,
is.
there you go.
Struggling.
2 games below 500, huh?
Struggling.
If you 1-3, I want to know how that team you got the 1 on really feeling. They probably like 0-4 right now.
They beat us today. They beat them today.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Damn.
They got their get back. Yeah, just finished one of my mandatory classes from one of my consequences from the what we've been talking about recently.
Yeah.
Started the other one, and I've been pretty good at like, hey, 1 week at a time, just knocking shit out, trying to get it whatever. But when I started this new one, having that start over feel, I was like, man, it's gonna be a long year, because this one, that first one's 9 months, this one's 52 weeks. At $100 a week, like, this shit ain't fun. And they making me work this time. Like, I gotta participate and shit.
Yeah.
Talk about what I do a lot of talking during the week. Like, this being the last thing I do during the week, trying to talk and shit, it's probably not the best time of the week, because I would just be giving it up all week. Talking, and I'd be like, yo, I'm just trying to shut the fuck up.
You give everyone
everybody.
gas and we get your fumes.
Nah, I be trying to turn it on, but like, I be talking all week long about everything, and I just be like, yo. And
It's probably something needed for you, though. Because now you got to act a little different.
I'm not saying it's not needed, but like at a certain point, I just like, man, because I'm never ever really like alone.
Yeah.
I'm going, talking, handling. I'm never just like.
You take nature walks. Concrete nature.
But even when I'm walking, like, I would say 20% of my walk, that's my alone time. And then the rest, my phone be ringing. Or I got to call people back, or I got to handle business, or I got to do. This is my time to get my phone shit out the way, because I'm going any other time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just thought, I was like, man, I come in here, I feel like I do all right for the most part, but I'll be done. Like, and maybe it's because we talking about different shit, and it's not, it's 3 of us, and it ain't just me going like, oh yeah, this and that, whatever. But sometimes I'll be like, man, I just want to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I feel that. You're maxed out.
It's funny, like you said that, like when we woke up yesterday, it was Saturday when we woke up, like I laid in the bed until about 10. I was like, damn, I ain't did this.
I feel guilty. I would feel guilty if it was 10 o'clock and I was getting up.
Now this week, because I knew that we had a bunch of shit going on, like that's about to be happening, a lot of time with them, like it felt good. I knew where my kids were. They were somewhere safe. You know what I mean? Nah, but because that's the thing that goes on in your mind when you go on vacation sometimes, or you get away from your kids. You want to make sure that they're in a spot where you don't have to worry. I mean, you're going to probably think about it. It's going to be passively in your mind. But you're not spending the day, like, concerned about it.
No, you have peace of mind.
Yeah, that's why, like, going to work sometimes isn't that bad for me. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yo, like, nah, I can go grow, without me.
I look forward to Mondays.
Yeah. As weird as that sounds, like, Like, and I get a lot of alone time there. Like, we got a gym at work. I go to the gym at work and shit like that during lunchtime. And it's like, yo, this is cool. Like, a little peace of mind. And sometimes I go to the gym in the afternoon. It just depends. But the way they schedule been. So I understand what you're saying. You just got to schedule it.
No, I mean, I get it. It just right now. I'm not mad. I'm never mad how I use my 24.
But you know what?
I'm always using my 24 efficiently. I just need more.
I think the once you're able to drive again, that would change everything.
Yeah, I'll be every day. Every day, I'm just like, ooh.
This is worse than jail. Like, I feel like not driving or like having like the means of like going somewhere right when you could, not on someone else's time.
And now that
we take
like
it for granted.
Yeah,
like me and like some of the coaches is getting a little closer now, and so they feel a little more comfortable. Be like, hey man, what's up? Why was you rolling with him the other day? I'm like, I'm a little. The thing is, they're all military, so they completely understand. Oh yeah, man, I got like 2 of them.
Oh goodness.
I'm like, no, you got 2 of the you ain't got 2 of what I got. You got 2 of whatever.
The military helps out with those. So like in some of those cases, when that shit happens, they automatically send the case to the military.
Yeah, but I mean, they ain't got 2 of what I got.
Yeah.
There's levels.
There's levels to it.
That's real.
That probably would have been the next part. Like if I went further and was like, oh yeah, let me what happened after I got out of jail and what went to like the shit that I'm dealing with now. Every single turn, I was like, oh, here's a pro tip, and this is life pro tip. Expectations, ooh man, those can really burn you. Cause I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna go like this, and that. And the thing is, it wasn't even all my fault. They weren't like expectations I was setting up. This is shit I was being told.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And then I'd get there and it wouldn't happen. I'm like, that sucks. And it was never like, they never like overpromised.
That sucks.
They always overpromised and underdelivered.
Oh shit! Expectations are a bad thing.
And I didn't say it. Was like, man, why y'all torturing me like this?
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I get out.
You're a black man.
I go to my court date. My court date's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna continue it. So this ain't a real court date. We're court date down the road. I'm
Still
like, all right, cool.
It.
And then so we do that. I go on about my business. I come back to court. I meet with the lawyer, and he's like, yeah, hey, your profile, you perfect. Squeaky clean record, you good to go, you got a good job, you ain't never been in trouble, everything's good. Oh, for sure they gonna knock these felonies down to misdemeanors. This is gonna be that. Everything's gonna be like, this is your first time offense, right?
You walked into court like that, and they threw the book at you.
I walked in and was like, hey, I walked in and I was like, hey, between that and the white privilege that maybe I can finally flex.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. You know what? But I also was like, hey, I'm still taking it serious because this little first offense chip, I can only cash that in one time.
Yeah.
Like it's real now.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like I had learned my lesson. I didn't need the universe to step in and be like, nah, I don't think you did. Because the thing is, at the first, I don't go in there and then I find shit out. Like they go in there and they do a lot of talking for you and then they come out, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in there, I'm sitting there, I'm with the kid's mom and we're just talking and she's just like, man, why are you so calm? Like, I feel like I can't really do nothing about it. I'm trying not to stress out over, I can't control any more situation. I'm here. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. And you heard what he said. Like, I'm going to just hope that's what happens. And then he comes out and he's like, let me talk to you over here.
Damn.
And he's just like, yeah, so I brought all that stuff up and they basically laughed in my face. I was like, I thought it was like, figure of speech. He was like, no, they literally laughed in my face. I was like, which part are you talking about? He's like, yeah. But then he got so nonchalant, like I wasn't a person. He's like, yeah, so they're going to send you back to jail. And I was like, wait, what? What you mean? Like right now? Like, I can't go back. I'm going to work. What you mean? And he just like, yeah, so I tried to get the felonies reduced. They said no.
Yeah, I want to know what try look like.
Yeah,
he dressed like a public defender?
I mean, yes and no. Like he seemed like he felt. It sounded like he knew his shit.
But if you looked at him, go ahead.
You used a public defender. You didn't pay for a lawyer.
No. Okay. And they're like, yeah, so they want to send you back to jail for, I think it was like 3 more months. I said, 3 months?
Would you have to still do all this shit though?
I think so.
Nah.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, you have to
I
do
would
the
have.
classes
All that
no
other
matter
stuff
what.
would have happened, and so I'm like, I can't do it, man. Like, I don't know. And then he's just like, all right, so we don't really have a lot of time. I can continue.
After knowing the
this.
story, like in detail, you really can't do it again.
And he's like, they ain't gonna put me back in the same block.
Yeah.
So he
gotta go back to the woods.
He was like, it sounds like you got some shit you gotta like get in order. I said, yes, I do. He's like, so I'm gonna buy you 30 days. We'll come back. That way you can kind of figure out what's going on. I'm like, all right, shit. And then so we leave, and I'm just like, fuck, now I gotta spend 30 days. Now I'm over here now, like, all right, let me hit, like, I know a couple, like, actual, like, I know a couple lawyers.
Yeah.
I'm running it past them, and they're just like, yeah, man, the problem is, you know, everywhere's a little different. Like, I'm in LA, but yeah, Dago's they're like extra conservative when it comes to DV and drunk driving. Like, they don't play with that shit. And I'm just like, fuck. And then this one guy was like, everyone's telling me though, like, oh, like, I felt like at least they should have like do you like house arrest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, they told me going back. And he's just like, yeah, that don't make no sense. And then so I spent 30 days just calling people, getting my shit in order. I was like, damn, you told me I didn't need any like letters, character letters, nothing like that. I'm hitting everybody up. Now I got to have this conversation a million times. Hey, I've been fucking up. This is where I'm at. Hey, by the way, you know me. I need a little letter, shit like that. And I'm doing all this. I'm building a little, because one dude said, hey, here's the thing. Like when you're in court now, you already like, you took the breath test, right? You can't, if you go to court to argue that you weren't, you're going to lose. So
right.
Now we're just trying to mitigate the damage.
Defense.
So you got to put together this little packet of just like, look at you. Look at how everybody feels about you. Look, you done started these classes early before anybody
So you did all this shit and the
it.
public defender didn't do it.
Yeah. Which made sense, but at the same time, like I had already started the class because like, yeah, they're gonna make you take this little 3-month joint or whatever. I'm like, cool, I did that, and I hella just hijacked this how y'all doing shit.
Nah, that's good.
My bad.
We still gonna jump on her.
And then and I did that. I went. They told me I had to do this panel where you go Mothers Against Drunk Driving, where you get yelled at for 2 hours. And I was like, all right, it's a one-time joint. I went and did that.
That's what you took away from it?
No. That's what I thought it was going in. It wasn't that at all. It wasn't that at all. But like, that's how I kind of described. That's how I pictured it in my mind when I saw the thing. Like, oh shit. And I did all that. And then we get back, and they're like, oh, this fool gonna tell me, because I called him like the Friday before I was supposed to go back, and I was like, hey, I'm doing all this and that. I got this little packet together. I really think like, all right, I understand they're not going to do this, but like, I really can't go back to jail. This fool going to tell me, oh, I didn't tell you? Oh, house arrest was on the table. I said, dog, I'm sitting here thinking I'm going to jail.
This man
and I'm
going to
lose my job. I'm like, what do you mean you forgot to tell me?
That sounds like a public defender, though.
Yeah, literally.
It does sound like a public defender.
You're
and for those who
stressing.
don't know, the court will assign you a public defender that's paid for by the county and stuff like that. But you can also go out and get a private attorney. It's just that you have to pay the retainer fees.
Yeah.
And so in his mind, he had to, and you're giving the story the wrong way, a little, at least for people to have clarification, because they probably think you crazy. In his mind, right, based off of the conversations he was having with people,
I didn't need to hire
there
no
was
lawyer.
nothing to argue
There was
because they
nothing
already
that-
had the breath test.
and
That's
I was
why
like-
he didn't get
That's why I didn't do all that.
That you have to say that because she was looking at you like you was crazy for
because you never go with the public defender. It doesn't matter what it is because you don't trust the system.
No,
Right.
I get that
and
part.
they got high ass fucking caseloads. So it's like,
I
Exactly.
understood all of that. I just said, man, there's nothing to argue. It's more like, hey, it is what it is.
But there
Just handle the
is
case.
mitigation. There is, negotiation for those deals that they make.
So I went in there and I was like, fuck, all right. And so basically I had 120 days house arrest, and they had this stipulation to where every day counts as 2. So that turned into 60.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, all right, I can do that. I'm sitting down anyway.
Were you able to go to work?
Yeah, you can go to work. But I had the ankle monitor.
Yeah.
Right? And luckily it happened.
Wow, you're looking like a real G out there.
Well, no, luckily it happened in March, so it wasn't hot yet. So I was sweats every day.
Yeah.
And it was hard, like trying to hide that shit from the kids and like showering with it. And I'm gonna just go through. I'll get to the house arrest story, I guess, next time. I'm not gonna hog it for it because it's hour and a half shit. But they gave me 3 months of this program. Hella fees. They was trying to max out all the fees, and finally the judge was like, well, once I got that part down and we went back and I waited for sentencing, they were trying to max these other, like the DA was just like, given the age of the children, no, like they were trying to just throw me into the jail.
I keep forgetting that they
and I'm like,
added that
man.
charge.
But at the sentencing, like the last minute sentencing, because it got extended, like they let me. The thing they let me do is I was like, hey, I signed up I had the half marathon going on. And then I was like, between the half marathon and like the holidays, they let me get through it before my sentencing. So they let me pick that date. And I was like, cool, appreciate it. Got to do that. And then when it came down to it, they were trying to throw these extra fees on me, all this other stuff. And the judge was like, let's relax. He's getting a lot right now. And based on everything he's doing, because they laid out everything I was doing, and I haven't been sentenced yet, and I'm already 2 months into this program. I go to AA. I'm in therapy, or even if that was unrelated, like I do all this stuff.
You were proactive.
I'm very proactive, and then I'm very grateful for some last minute testimony. From the kid's mom, like really put it over the top to where he said, you know what? And he took that 60 days and he chopped it in 30.
Wow.
And I was like, good look. And so after that was in January, and they was like bullshitting to where I didn't even start till after that. It was just kind of weird. Like, y'all, then it became what I thought it was going to be. Like, oh, they got bigger fish to fry. They ain't worried about me. But at the same time, like, hey, I'm doing what I'm being told. And y'all just keep telling me, don't worry about it. And then when it comes down to it, oh, I should have worried about this. Because then I finally meet my PO. I'm going to skip the house arrest because I met my PO later. Because they also gave me 4 years probation. And even then, they're like, man, that's kind of steep. And I was like, I don't know, is it? And then so she's like, hey, come back in 2. We can get this off in 2. I was like, y'all been telling me a lot of shit and ain't none of it happened.
Yeah.
But let me get through, I'll go back once I start finishing some shit. Because one thing, so they gave me a 3-month course. When I met the PO, he said, nah, you doing 9. And I was like, can you do that? Because the judge told me 3. He's like, I can do what I want to do. I said, oh, all right. He do kind of have a big handle on my life at this point, so I'll listen. Why not? Hey, it's triple the price, whatever. And then they told me, oh, he probably said that because everybody's different entities, right? So the court said 3 months, but the DMV will probably say 9. So he was probably just looking out for you and getting that process started. I was like, all right, cool. And then so I literally just finished that, and that was trying to transfer over from a 3 to a 9, and then they're over here worried about paperwork. And then remember, I started early.
Yeah.
I picked from a lawyer, said, hey, I send all my people, it's to the Zoom class, because that way you don't have to wait for a spot to open up in the city. And I was like, okay. And then when I meet my PO, oh, you're already started? Where you going? I told him. He's like, I don't know what that is. And I let him know. He's like, oh, that's not on the court approved list. I said, what you mean?
That's how they get you.
I'm already 6 months in. 5-6 months in. He's like, you got to go to court and ask for it, and hopefully they say yes. And he was like, I don't know if it's going to be likely, because that money kind of they want that money to stay in the county.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, man. So it took me forever to get a court date, and then I finally get the court date. And then this is one of those, I was like, oh, I'm glad I kind of overstressed and didn't have to worry about it. Because I'm walking in like, oh, man, she's going to say no. I'm going to have to start over. And I had to wait I paid for a whole extra month of the classes, hoping she would say yes, just because I didn't want to lose my spot by waiting for the court date. I walk in and she's like, "Why are you wasting my fucking time? What are you here for?" And I was like, "To get this court approved." I was like, "Who told you to do this?" I was like, "My PO said that it's not on the list." And he's like, "Why are you still there? You said you started in November." I said, "Yeah. We only asked for 3 months." I was like, "He told me to do 9. Well, if you're going above and beyond what I asked, I'm not going to penalize you and say this don't count. Do what you got to do." And I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
I get the paper and I send it to the thing. And then now the class is saying, "Oh, this ain't good." "What do you mean this ain't good?" "Well, we got to send your shit to the court when you're done and it's not going to be good enough." I was like, the court said I'm cool.
Yeah.
Send my shit to the DMV, who I really need to care. The court will be fine because I know they told me. And it's just been like, you know those things that you think is going to take 1 5-minute phone call and it's cleared up? And it takes me 6 phone calls every fucking time.
Yeah, that's my life.
And then he pointed out, "Oh yeah, once you're done with that class, you have to take a 52-week course on child abuse." And I was like, fuck, that one hit me harder because I was like, man, it was already weird being in the DUI class, feeling like I didn't belong because, man, people was in there just not taking it serious and just, "Oh, this is my 3rd one. I'm back." And just, they not caring. I'm like, man, y'all have the luxury of not caring what's going on right now. Like, I wish. It was more envious than anything. But then now, just all the consequences I've had to deal with. Now that I'm starting this child abuse class, the reason why, these consequences that I deal with, I got to deal with them every single day in different ways. Whether it's not driving, not having my time, like getting here, getting wherever I need to go and waiting on somebody else, or spending mad money on an Uber just to go down the street, or I can't take team pictures with the other coaches because I can't pass a background check. Because when it pops up, holy shit, why is someone with this child endangerment around our kids doing this and that? And then so anytime any of these teams are like, "Hey, I seen you out here, you want to help us out coaching that?" I was like, it's got to be like kind of keep it low. And so when the actual games start, like during all these scrimmages and all this other stuff, it was cool, whatever. But when this real ass league starts, like I was telling you off mic, where all these parents are complaining, like they want all the edges, like we're gonna get them to forfeit, penalize, whatever. If I'm not on this little roster and I step foot on the field as opposed to being behind this gate,
it's a penalty.
It's a penalty, suspension, fine, whatever it is, because they're like, he's not on the clipboard, he didn't pass no background check. And it's just like, it's weird if I just like jokingly like, "Oh yeah, I can't help y'all out.
Yeah.
I can't be here on Mondays because I got my child abuse course."
Right.
And that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, 52 weeks at $100 a pop is.
Do you feel like, because like you said, you're feeling the ripples of the long term and we obviously expect like the court and the fees but it's like these side effects, right? Like, not being able to pass a background, not being able to participate at the level that you would prefer to. Are you, as you're going through these adversities and, as you're on your continued path of sobriety, are these adversities kind of like concreting it for you, or are you more just like irritated with it? Like, are you taking these lessons and trying to really, I guess, grow from them, or are you just more irritated because you feel like it's an inconvenience?
I think the irritation is like, well, I mean, I always like, oh, well, shit, I put myself here at this point. I didn't need a whole bunch of, like, I understand the consequences. I didn't need these ones. The 36 hours in jail was good enough for me.
But, I mean, that's what a lot of people say, right? They're like, I didn't belong here. These people aren't taking it serious, or I'm not as bad as them, or I'm not as,
She should have came. The way she says it is way better. I
think that's kind of like where it's kind of like...
No, I know what you mean, because when I said that to the therapist, she was like, she tried to put off as I wasn't taking responsibility for what I did. Like, no, you do belong here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to come off that way.
Yeah.
I do belong here because I did this, and that's where these people
What
go.
I agree with what you're saying, because this is what we've been on his ass about, right? But then I also agree with what he's saying, because there are people in there that don't take it serious, and it fucks up everybody else's experience that's trying to.
Because they're sitting here like, joke, like, no, I did the 9-1 last time. Now I'm doing the 18-month.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's cool. And I'm just like, what?
But it's easy to say, like, you know, I'm not as bad as them, or don't have an issue as degree, or I'm taking it more seriously than to be like, no, like, it's not about them. It's not comparing me to them. It's introspective. It's looking at the choices I was making and how those choices are now affecting me, my life, my family. And instead of comparing, it's like, okay, what's applicable? Yes, this is inconvenient. Yes, this is irritating. Maybe I'm not as much of a fuck up, or I'm not as whatever deep in my addiction as them. But it's not about that. It's about really like taking in.
I had to do what you're saying. I had to do that in AA.
Yeah.
This course, it's a fucking money grab.
Yeah.
Like, it was literally, hey, this is the topic. He would say something for 2 minutes. All right, I'm taking y'all credit card information, and he'd leave us alone for like 30 minutes to go and people sitting there just talking about their cats and whatever the fuck they was talking about for an hour, and then he'd come back. All right, I think we good to go. And so on one hand, for bandwidth purposes, it's like, I ain't got to focus on this. I have to be here. It's inconvenient, but I ain't got to put no like energy into it.
Yeah.
I just got to pay for it, get it out the way 1 week at a time.
That sucks that the system is like that.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. If I really cared, like, I wanted to get something from this, it didn't do anything.
Well, now, even if it's hitting your pocket,
when it
you know
came,
what I mean? It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be quick.
When it came to
it's supposed
AA,
to make
though,
you really not want to again.
When it came to AA, I had did AA around the pandemic. I did that because that was one of the times I was like, I'm going to slow down. I'm going to go drive for like 100 days just to prove to myself and some other people I can do it. And while I'm doing that, I hit like a lunchtime AA every day, like on the phone. And when I first jumped into those ones, I was like, I don't belong here. Because, like, the shit they talking about, I was like, that sounds crazy. And, like, I'm over here just talking about, like, I'm just trying to do 100 days. Like, I felt guilty being in there. And then when I went back this last time, I was like, man.
I got some stories to compare.
Back then, I was like this. But, like, nowadays, but then this new, like, this. The 2024.
I'm a seasoned vet now.
In 2020. In 2024,
I didn't think we were gonna find fun in this. That was funny though.
In 2024, I was like, this shit a little more relatable, and this shit ain't fun.
When is it my turn?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's crazy. I would have ended on the laugh on that because that's funny. Yeah, Jay, how you been?
Oh man,
I know.
I've been like in like the parenting trenches. I feel like I've been like dealing with like I got my preteen who's like switching up her wardrobe on me and testing the boundaries.
After a week, damn.
Literally the same week of school that she started. Her
you know what? I will say
that quick.
Where you sent her. The one day I was out there doing baseball practice with my stepson, man, and them kids came outside, and I was like, damn.
Yeah.
They was talking like grown people. I was like, yo.
They think they're grown.
This is like a school that like we entrust, right? I can't imagine what the worst ones sound like. You know what I mean?
Hey, this is supposed to be exactly a school in like a nicer neighborhood.
Right,
you know?
right.
She's not at Horseman. You know, like
yeah.
Shout out to Horseman.
Shout out to Horseman.
In case they want us to come through and speak to the youth.
We got y'all. No shade.
Better days are coming.
Hang in there.
Go ahead.
Stop hanging out at grocery outlet. But yeah, and then I got my daughter who's in this like wild ass, my twin who's in the screaming phase. It's driving me up the wall. My son is having this major sleep regression, and I don't know if I said on here, but he had a physical like a few months ago before he started preschool, and the pediatrician said that they're concerned that he may be on the spectrum. So they did a referral for a speech therapist, a behavioral therapist, and a more like in-depth screening. They can't diagnose. He's only 2,
Right, they wait
so they
till
can't
after, like,
diagnose.
5 or 3.
Yeah, exactly. And the spectrum, if you don't know, is for autism.
Right.
And
The most overly diagnosis.
exactly.
there is.
Yeah.
So
Is he talking?
No. So
Okay.
he's babbling, but he's especially, it's hard when you're not comparing twins, but my girl twin, she's speaking in like sentences now. She she's memorized things, she knows colors, she can count, etc. And then when you compare it to my son who's just babbling and starting, like today my daughter said he said pink and yellow, and I heard a mama the other day and a daddy. So we're starting to get singular actual words.
Yeah.
But he's not communicating. There's that lack of eye contact. There's
I guess hard potty training too.
yeah. He keeps ripping off his damn diaper.
Yeah.
So I keep having to find shit piles and cleaning up shit. Oh my goodness.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Just look, you gotta look on the other side.
No, my oldest, she was like, Mom. I was like, Marvel keeps taking off his diaper and waking up naked, and then he's peeing on the bed, he's peeing on the couch, whatever. And my oldest, she goes, Mom, you sleep naked every night.
Learned behavior.
Yeah, and I was like,
if act right sounded
touche.
so, yeah. You couldn't even
Touche.
say nothing.
I couldn't.
It hurt a little too.
And then I was like, let me put a plastic sheet on his mattress and let him live.
oh shit.
So just like dealing with those different things, and I really like the idea of my son having autism is something I really have grappled and thought about a lot, because I've always wanted a son. Like I like sports. I'm a barber too. I like a lot of like male things, and so to have a son that I could be a coach, I could be a team mom, we can do the athletics, we can do all the boy quote unquote things. I hate to gender things, don't come for me, my people. And so the idea that like, oh, maybe my son, and then my son's like big, and so all my family's already like, oh, and he's the only boy, he's the first grandson, he's the first nephew, he's we're all girls. My dad has 3 girls. I already had a daughter. Like, and so everyone's like, "That's our football player.
He's
That's
got
our
it made."
star."
You
Like,
can still do those things.
yes, yeah, exactly.
That's why they call it a spectrum, right?
Exactly.
It's,
And
it's like it's just where does he fall on it, if he even falls on it in the first place?
Exactly. So me trying not to get
Elon Musk
ahead.
is a billionaire. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I mean, I look at it like, and I don't know if you've had a lot of experience with kids that like having. I've seen like the high end of the spectrum,
Yes.
right? But then I've also seen the low end, and it's like,
Yes.
usually it matters. Like you can see it in social settings, but they key in on things that I ain't never seen them key in on.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'd be like, yo, fucking genius.
Genius.
Like I can't even hate.
And you know what? That might be what it is because I have worked closely with the children and
So you
adults,
expect the worst.
and so exactly, and so I'm having to like relax and understand early intervention, and I'm like, okay, just you can't. He's too young. But I had a great our health insurance, like, it got deactivated, and I've been jumping through all the like you said, 1,000 phone calls, and they say it only takes one, and we've been months without insurance. So when they started preschool, we just went to Family Health.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
hood clinic.
Not my extra.
And no, literally
Those
to
are the
get
ones.
because we needed the physical and the
I feel like they give you a
updated
little more care,
immunization. You know what? I did like the doctor. He looked familiar.
They be calling us.
He was cool. I liked him.
They be. I'm like, yo, shit. Our doctor that I spend all this money on don't even really hit us up at all.
No, yeah, he went over the lab results,
Yeah.
but I'm comfortable with Kaiser, who's we normally have. They did all of our care, all of my daughters. I love our pediatrician. But so, anyways, I finally got the letter that our Kaiser is back active.
Yes.
So I was waiting for that before I started his support services.
That's what's
so
up.
I'm
You're gonna really be busy too then.
Yeah, I am, and I'm trying to find in-home support services where they'll actually come in for like the speech therapy. So
You giving a regional center referral yet?
not yet, exactly.
Yeah,
so,
you get that. It's
That's
gold.
the good one
It's
right
the
there.
golden
Yeah.
ticket. You don't even need the
and
insurance.
so I
man. They
don't
will
think
take care of you.
he's old enough yet.
How old is he right now?
He just turned 2.
No, he can get region. Oh, it's after
3, right?
No, they start early. We'll talk about that
yeah,
off
yeah.
mic. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get there. But yeah, so I'm really excited to start his support services and to see like how that helps his development catch up and, you know, just give him what he needs to be able to succeed and however that looks for him.
Good thing is it's not a journey that you're going to do by yourself.
Yeah.
You got support and we here too.
Thanks,
so
guys.
that helps out.
Thank you. I
You gonna
appreciate
hit my
that.
hand class and we can finally start this pod 40 in, baby. I ain't mad at it though. Some people need to relate. I ain't mad at it. Let's get to it. I'm going to start off with some fun shit. Read them a week. Do I want to do that one? Oh, I didn't put the other one in here. All right. I used to have a high sex drive when I first met my husband.
You guys like what I sent you the other day? With the
I meant to get on my bone to pick with you real quick, but I'll make it quick. So we'll get back to this. But it cracked me up because Zoe came in, right? And it was so circumstantial. Like he was literally at the house. I cut his hair. I was like, "Oh, you want to come pot?" You text me, and he was there. And he was like, I was like, "Yo, bro, you want to come pot?" He's like, "Fuck it, I'll go." Right? And so then we came. Then I got the message from her talking about, "Oh, y'all look like y'all had too much fun in there. Don't let the girls see you having too much fun without them." But we had a good time.
He's
but
funny.
I know. We wasn't replacing you though, man. He got too much shit to do. Don't worry. That's the only reason I'm fucking with. I told you.
He's busy.
Don't worry. Oh man, I told you we laughed. That was my bone to pick because I was like, "Yo, she hit us with the y'all better not replace me, man. Answer my messages when you hit me too."
No, well,
and then we came in. Lex was like, "Yo, I hit you on Friday. You ain't hit me back."
dude, well, I just saw the thumbnail and I was expecting to see an empty chair.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh.
How did he get it scrambled that fast? Nah, he literally came.
I walked in and thought I was gonna see an empty chair too.
Yeah, I thought so. Well, I thought you was coming, and then when you said no, I was like, shit. And then I was sitting there, I was like, bro, he pods. I was like, we might as well. Some people are used to the third mic now, so I was like, let's just. He's always a good sub.
He has
I'm always using that.
He's funny. I would be scared to pod with him.
Genuinely himself, but he'll probably make you feel like you're not even podding. That's how it happens because he's really like that all the time. Like that's his personality. Anyway, read him and wheat. I used to have a high sex drive when I first met my husband, and very much so when we were dating, and married pretty much before children. There's nothing wrong with my hormones or anything. I've been to the doctor, but I just don't want to have sex with my husband anymore. I think it's more mental because I'm able to have sex in my dreams and masturbate just fine, but I'm so dry when it comes to my husband, and it irritates him. He just doesn't know how to turn me on anymore. He used to do so much for me before we were married, especially before having kids. Some examples, we used to have oral sex, but he thinks it's gross because I'm a mother now. And he says, you had a whole baby down there.
Oh, hell no. He don't deserve no pussy if he's thinking like that.
It gets worse. He gained 70 pounds over the years and it's a turnoff.
Oh.
I gained some weight too, but it was after the pregnancy and I worked hard to get my BMI normal. It's just a turnoff.
She said it like that.
Yeah, BMI.
Health conscious?
They can't be from America.
My snapback game.
It's crazy. It's just a turnoff hearing him have trouble breathing when we're having sex.
Oh, shit. Hey, I'm not even that mad at her no more.
Get this fat fuck off me.
Dang, just struggling on top of you.
Bro, wait a minute. Just imagine hearing this shit.
Hand me my CPAP, babe.
CPAP is
Falling on
crazy.
you?
Sometimes he gets so tired during sex he needs an intermission because he got tired and he got a little limp when it's just been about 2 minutes. He used to buy me expensive things. My love language is gifts, and he still does buy me gifts now and then, but they're not as lavish as they once were. And he doesn't try to impress me anymore now that we're married. It has nothing to do with finances. Our finances are fine. Am I in the wrong for not...
Who wants to go first?
I will, because my wife told me something. So we... No, this is great. Because I ask shit like this all the time, right?
Why
like,
you
just
don't
to get
do
a
that
gauge.
thing no more?
No, not that. No, I ask because we watch My 600-Pound Life. Right? And in watching My 600-Pound Wife, my 600-pound life, I say, yo, if I got to this point, she's like, I'd be going.
You gotta have that conversation.
And I was like, yo,
Big people need love too.
But
Let's not fat shame.
Well, I was like that where you're bedridden. That is, I understood what she said after because I got mad like you did right now when she said it. I said, fuck you, V. She's like, well, if you got to that point to where I have to take care of you, you no longer care about yourself. like to that point on TV. Not just like I'm big now, right? It's like no, like I still move around and shit, run around with the kids. Because obviously, if I'm that big and I'm bedridden, I'm not spending time with my kids. I can't do the activities I need to do.
Another person to take care of.
I'm basically another, and I was like, I understand that.
Yeah.
Now in this context right here, 70 pounds is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think when you say for better or for worse, you better find some love in that, in my opinion, right? Honestly. And I get that he's changing up his patterns and stuff like that. Maybe he's got to talk about that to kind of get her, in the moment, because what he's going to do is he's just going to get him into the situation where they just roommates. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's how I feel about it. And I'll piggyback off of whatever y'all have to say if y'all think she's in the wrong or not.
Go ahead.
We gotta balance it out.
No. I want to hear what you have to say first.
She want to hear what you got to say.
I think.
Now think of this as your wife.
It's hard for me
hypothetically speaking, what I'm saying, like if this would be a girlfriend or a wife or something like that, don't think of it
which
as
side?
like that.
It's like you're the chubby guy.
I'm gaining 70 pounds?
No, you're the one that doesn't gain 70 pounds. You're sick.
That's easier for me to relate to because I'm always like I can understand the whole like kids obviously change everything in the scenario a lot. You don't have as much time with each other. Sometimes you don't have enough time for yourself. So maybe, and I mean, from a man's perspective, it's like, yeah, gain a little weight. Some men kind of gain weight right along with her and they say it's for support. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Like I
sympathy weight.
Yeah, but I think they just need an excuse because like, oh, let me get my shit off too. Let me get the extra cupcake.
Well, I think it's like when you're in that transition though, like you're going to the birthday parties, your kids are eating the cupcakes, you're finishing their plates, like.
But me, I think I'm very, very understanding. I have a high tolerance, too high of a tolerance, professionally speaking, of just like letting shit go and not saying like, if I see you gain 70 pounds, I'm gonna do like I try to do I try to lead by example.
Yeah.
I try to support. I've tried to support many different ways. Let me be the hard, tough, like, hey, you better than this, blah, blah, blah. Let me just be the soft step back, like, hey, whatever you're doing, like, everything's great. You're gonna be fine. Like, nothing works. Then I'm just like, well, shit, I can't really do nothing about it. But
do you think, based off of that, do you feel like you can tell your wife that though? Like, I feel like that's such a hard conversation to have, like to tell somebody that you're like, for some unknown reason, no longer attracted to them, like anymore. Like that hasn't happened in my relationship. Right, but I'm sure at some point, like our feelings will change, like through time.
I've had that conversation with my husband more recently.
Did you really?
Yeah,
I want her to
go. Because when we were experiencing homelessness and I was really sick during my twin pregnancy, we both lost a bunch of weight. Like I lost almost 80 pounds.
Yeah.
My husband lost 50 pounds. And so my husband was damn near looking like Lex, and I was like the smallest I had been since high school or before. And as we, got stable and we slowly/quickly over the last 2 years gained all that weight back. And I told my husband the other day because like I had. Go ahead.
Are you saying I look homeless and unstable?
No, I'm saying
you're looking like that.
Hey, you didn't hear that. You ever see Charlie Brown with like,
That's
why I had to get this shit off because I found myself not paying attention.
No.
I was like, I gotta get this.
He was thin. He was skinny.
Oh shit! Seasoned vet is he homeless? All kind of strays.
thin, skinny.
Oh man.
Small.
Okay, proceed. My apologies.
Okay, my bad. Let me be
happy
specific.
with small, man.
Not like small.
You be big in here, be like me. So
it
anyway,
was just a joke.
That's all good.
I didn't know how serious she was gonna go, so
I seen how your face looked when I talked about your legs. So now I'm like feeling really big. And then now that I got leg shamed, I'm like looking out for you. Go ahead.
No, but I did tell him the other day, like, I've been trying to like slim back down, and my husband like. eating all the munchies and finishing all the things. I'm like, babe, like, like, let's be more like conscious of like the decisions we're making. And I was like, because we both have been bigger. My heaviest was 301 pounds. I just weighed myself the other day. I'm 188.
That's good.
And so for me, being under 200,
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal for me.
Absolutely.
I know that, but I'm only 4'11". I'm so little.
Yeah. So
really, I'm supposed to be like fucking 120. But where I'm comfortable at, where I feel like good, is like about between 135 and 150.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay in between there,
Yeah.
And so my body doesn't feel heavy.
Right.
But anyway, so I had to tell him, like, babe, like, look, you're on the path to your biggest, and if
you want me to do that thing still.
and I'm concerned a little bit, like, I didn't like you at your homeless size, like that was way too small for you, but I'm more attracted to you. So that's like, saying like, I'm more attracted to you when you're about this weight, and then, he hasn't been taking care of like his hair and his goatee. And I was like, and he finally did. And I was like, that's how the whole conversation came up.
That shit like that.
I think
will
it's
get
a
you to
mindset, because I feel like I can look at your body and it could be the same. It could look the exact same way. But if I see how you're thinking or what you're trying to do about it, that will change everything.
Yeah.
For me. So if you look like this, but I know you're trending wrong because you don't take care of yourself, I'm like, that's not attractive at all.
Yeah.
But if I see you like working hard and for whatever reason it's just slow to come off, it's gonna be, I'm gonna be wildly attracted. Like, oh, like look at her, go get it.
Yeah, she's working for it. Yeah. I think in this instance though, like I think we kind of got a little fixated on just her thinking he's gained the 70 pounds. She mentioned other things. And quite honestly, like, I can relate to homegirl. I
think that all comes from, like, I'm not saying it's a total excuse and he's not, like, he needs to step his shit up. But I think people in general, men and women, when the kids come along, if they're not built that way or they weren't necessarily ready for it, something drastic like this can happen where you can fall all the way off because you're so focused on the kids that you messing up your own shit. You're messing up how you treat your partner, and it can just start spiraling. Yeah,
definitely. But I think, like, speaking to her, because she said like they were fucking all the time before they got married, and they both had a good like sex drive, and I felt that same way within my marriage. Like, I have a high sex drive, my husband has a high sex drive. We were having a lot of sex, and then as we went through adversity, and then even after I had the twins, like, because I hadn't had sex for so long, I was very like nervous and almost shy to start. And I'm a very sexual being, so it was such a weird feeling. But I've gotten to the point where, having the kids, being mentally exhausted, and with me, my husband has been telling me like, we're not having sex as much, and I'm not sucking his dick as much as he would like. And for me, where that's coming in,
you ain't never got to worry about jumping on the ledge. I love the energy.
But for me, like, because we're having this conversation,
right.
And I feel her, because it's like, her love language is the buying gifts. So that's foreplay. My foreplay is conversation. My foreplay is like a massage, is like time spent.
Right.
That's my foreplay. So I'm like, yeah, we're not fucking as much because you just want to fuck. You want to go straight into having sex. Like, you need, like, what I like.
Oh, you want to feel like it means something.
Exactly. Like, I want to be warmed up. Like, fucking loose. Like, get me in the zone. Like, I joke with him. I'm like, I'm not a robot. I'm not a fucking blow up doll. Like, it's like, oh, you want to fuck? Maybe I would if you came over here and like rubbed my back a little bit, kissed my neck, like got my engines going. And so when that becomes like more of the norm, like, you want to fuck? I want to fuck. Like, or like, my husband, he'll like look at me and start rubbing his dick, and I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, exactly.
That's kind of fire.
He's like giving me
sometimes I think, especially when you got young kids where you don't really have a whole lot of time.
I don't care. I don't need you're right, man. I don't need a fucking 20-minute rub down, but like, versus, hey, you want to fuck, versus like, you got to give me a few minutes to get me my head there, to get my body there.
I'm definitely different now, I guess, right? Something about, fuck, this is gonna sound crazy. I always run into like one of these ones where I'll be like, I don't want her to flame me up for this. but like you feel like you're each other's, right? Oh, that's a better way of saying it, right?
Yeah.
And so because you can go in and pop that safe open or open up the microwave for convenience, it's like, yeah, I get what you're saying, right? So you need some nights where it's like, but I'm ready for the hot pocket, right? You know what I mean? Like the hot pocket, we got a little window. You need a full 7 or 8 hours of rest. So I can't give you the full.
I'm down for the quick fix, but what I'm saying is, like, instead of just saying, "Hey, I want to fuck," like, come over here and kiss me on my neck and like prove it, like say it in another way. You know what I mean? Still make me feel like I'm not your homeboy. Like I'm
so
still
afraid
a
of
woman.
rejection. I can't say the words like that. I have to do it the way you're asking for it.
Yeah,
because if I just come straight, it's like I know you shit forever at this point.
Yeah.
And I can't just be like, would you like to have sex with me? Because I'm so afraid of the. Even
you gotta
if
make sure that the hand on the thigh can lead to something else. So you
right. You know,
like I don't
see
even.
me here.
Yeah, like it's the being afraid of rejection is so crazy that I'm just like
Yeah, but,
and it'll bother me, and I'll just hold it and be like, yeah, well, it should eventually.
Well, a little of both isn't bad, but also like she said, you know, you used to do different things, you used to help me out. That's a big thing. Like my husband will be like, you know, oh, let's like at the end of the day, like, all right, I want to fuck, or you know, start doing the things. I'm like, homie, you didn't do, like, you saw me do this, you didn't help me do this. No, exactly.
Damn.
So I'm like, I'm sorry, my pussy isn't wet because I had to finish the dishes and you were chilling already, or like, so those little things, like those kind of add up to that.
This is crazy, like
that
the woman's
is.
brain,
and that
because like
especially
that's a real
leads
thing,
into like the dick sucking.
I'm not going to use this as my shows to watch, but there is this 3-part Netflix thing called the Guide to Pleasure or something like that, right?
I've seen that.
And
I haven't watched it.
They split it up into 3 different things, right? The first one is about the body and it's about women's pleasure. And then it's about
It's on Netflix?
the mind. Yeah.
I might watch
the third
episode.
one. The third one's about relationships. And after watching that third episode, I said, "Oh man!" Like when men have that whole like cliche, like, "Oh, I'll never understand a woman" thing. Like that episode was like, "Oh, this is it." The shit that goes on in women, like what she's trying to explain, what goes on in a woman's mind that we can't articulate to us, because we're just like, yo,
that's crazy.
Why the fuck are you making this so difficult? But it's like the way the women's body works through their mind and spiritually and emotionally within another person as their partner. We ain't got to deal with none of that. It's like, hey, shit, I like the way you look right now. Let's go. And she just like, oh my God, I'm thinking about this one dish in the corner of the sink, and I'm thinking about this, and that. I don't like the way you said hi to me earlier.
Yeah, literally.
It's all this shit. You're just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And on the flip side, when it's like, damn, like he helped me make breakfast and he did this and he took care of that.
Right,
and like by the end of the night, now I'm revved up. Now I'm ready to go. Like, oh, he got my favorite dinner. He did this without me asking. I'm like, these little things have like softened me and literally like opened my pussy up. And I'm like, okay, well,
that reminds me of
I'm
Fonte.
ready to receive whatever you're trying to give me.
Fonte said that in the verse. He said, a woman's love is love and a man's love is life. Right? Like just showing that we're always on separate pages. Because that's true. Like, I don't even know how the fuck he said hi to me or if we even said hi at all when we came in today. We just got straight to the shits.
Absolutely.
Right? Versus when you come in, it's hugs. Like, hey, come here, give me a hug. I'm not shaking his hand.
Yeah.
Not because I have a problem with him. It's just that, like, we don't feel the need to shake each other's hands. Sometimes when he leave, you know, depending on how deep the conversation was, like, oh, that warrants some physical affection between him and I. There it is.
And I think like Chappelle kind of said it a different way too when he was like, a woman's test in life is, he said material things, but I think for this context of the conversation, it's just like there's so much more. Of like they need everything. It's almost like they need like the perfect weather. They need the perfect temp. Like everything is perfect. I just mean like in a sense. And then the man, their test is the woman. And then he said, if we could fuck on a cardboard box, we wouldn't buy a house. Like the shit we do in life is for y'all.
Yeah.
Whether we're knowingly doing it for y'all or not, like that's what it's for.
Yeah.
The ego of like, well, shit. If I got the house, the car, the job, the security, this and that, I'm going to get hoes. And hoes are going to want to do stuff with me, and then I'll be good. But if I can get hoes why my brain won't be like, hey, go be ambitious and get all this other shit. You're fine, big dog. Look at you.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy that you say that though? That doesn't just apply. So, oh my God, they're gonna kill me. But I got a friend who's part of the community, right? And the community also is that keep up with the Jones mentality,
yeah.
right? Won't buy a Camry, which is a good working vehicle. Wants to buy a BMW SUV, or get like something. It's something high end to show off that, hey, I made it, and anyone I'm messing with can't be better than me. Like in my mind, like I have to be a little bit above them. Like I'm taking care of them. So I feel like. In this conversation, when I paint it that way, I'm saying that there's masculine qualities of wanting to take care of something, right?
Yeah.
In that manner, and we look at feminine qualities to be more softer, and you appeal to those things. And I feel like if we're looking at those being plus and minuses in a relationship, if y'all catching on to me, where it's like, there have to be two opposites for them to have a good charge. Right? It doesn't have to be male, doesn't have to be female, it could be either or. But you have to take on the role of being the provider in that relationship, right? And so I noticed that, like, and we're talking about straight relationships right now. And so staying on that note, though, at least I just noticed that. But it's like, like those are the things that's important to me, right? But because they're important to me, something small like my wife got dressed, and tell you the truth, she was banging.
Oh,
And she asked me though.
She was looking fire.
But y'all get to see that in the messages. But walking through the hall, she was like, "So you ain't gonna tell me I look good?" I was
Dude.
like, but I'm like, "Yo, fam, I tell you look great when you don't look like this, because I like that version of you too."
It doesn't matter.
No.
That
I'm
drives
gonna
me
die on
nuts.
this hill right now.
No,
I'm gonna die
when
on
I
this
put
hill.
in
I'm so
the
glad we're here
effort,
today. Oh,
when
let her get her
I
shit
put
off.
in the fucking, because I will come out looking fly as fuck, and I know my husband feels it and sees it, and he does tell me. My husband prefers me done down, no makeup, no, you know how most men feel like that. But I'm like, I know I look bomb. And I'm waiting for him to tell me, you look beautiful. Like, I'm waiting when I walk out ready. I'm waiting by the time I get in the car. And after so long, 3-5 minutes, I'm like, I don't look good. It feels like a long time.
That's how long it was. 3 minutes when she asked me.
It should be immediate. And he's like, he says the same shit you just said. I tell you look beautiful all the time. You know how beautiful
But you wanted
are.
when you knew that you put the effort into do it.
Exactly. And
I get
I
it
want
from that point.
And my husband tells me I have no patience.
I don't empathize.
He's like, you have no patience
with it, but
nah, because it's effort.
Let me stick up for the
why
fellas.
don't you say it immediately? If you're thinking it, you see it, you know it, just say it, right?
Because
immediately.
I think we are so focused on the other side of the spectrum, right? When you're not done up and you're done down, because I think we have to kind of like tiptoe, like, how is she feeling about herself today?
If we're getting done up, we obviously want if I put that effort in, obviously I want the acknowledgement, especially from my man.
I understand
that the effort I just put in.
I just spent a few minutes talking about how men are stupid, right? Let me just tell you where we're coming from. At least me.
Okay.
You put in the effort. Like, okay, you look great, right? But you're also like, you put yourself in a position to get compliments from anybody and everybody. I'm not saying, but your compliment's the one I'm looking
just
for.
like my damn
no, wait.
husband.
I'm
Let him finish though. I kind of like this one. Hold on, let him finish. I never heard this perspective.
It's not that. But when I look at it, it's like, okay, but you look fire, right?
Yeah.
And you want me to say it? Cool. It's like, I said it, but whatever. But like, you're going to hear it throughout the night, whether it's your friends, other male attendant, whatever it is. And you know it. You looked in and said, I'm ready to go. Yeah. And you're feeling great. Yeah. What I'm here for is when you're not feeling so great. When you wake up and be like, oh, because I don't know, I'm not going to say all women, but in my experience, women never shy away from like, oh my God, I look like shit. I feel like shit. My eyebrows, my eyelashes, whatever it is at the moment. Yeah. This, and that. And I'll be looking like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Yeah. You look amazing. Yeah. I wish you felt the way, I wish you could see yourself the way I see you. Because I feel like that is way more important than the compliments you get for getting done up that you're going to get all these other places, including yourself.
But like I tell my husband, because I hear what you're saying.
I'm not saying you're all the way wrong.
And I'm not saying you're all the way wrong or all the way right.
I'm mostly right, though.
You're mostly wrong. Because he says the same thing. He's like, you know, you look, that's the first thing he says. You know, you look good. You know, you're beautiful without it, and you got it on. He's like, you know it. He's like, you're going to hear it from everybody else. Same thing. That's not the point. I chose you. You're my nigga. You're my man. You're my husband. You're right. I know I look good, and I know I'm going to step out here and every motherfucker, man and woman, is going to tell me I'm pretty, I'm cute. But I want to hear it from you because I chose you. I love you. And your opinion, and you should be honored. Your opinion means the most to me.
Shit, I like
and
that.
I want to be, want my effort validated from the one that means the most for me.
I'm
gonna get to you, and it's frustrating when, especially you guys know that we put that effort in, and I feel like you guys do it on intentional sometimes. Like you guys do. I
do.
He does. My man does
but
too.
I'm gonna tell you why, because I don't like telling people what I got sometimes. Like it's a. For example, I got and men relationships are different.
Can't give me no compliment because you're gonna use that shit against me.
My wife went with me to pick my outfit out for the wedding. I don't get dressed for weddings.
You looked very nice too.
Trust
very
me,
handsome.
I put a lot of effort and money into that outfit.
Yeah, he asked last week. He said, "I need to piece my shit together."
Yeah,
So he
they
gets it from
look
different
good.
sources.
I had to get one thing
You
delivered.
styled
had to go
yourself?
up there. Yeah, I went and looked all the shit up. But wait a minute,
Your wife doesn't dress you.
but you know my homies.
Yeah.
So within 5 minutes, he coming in here look like a public defender.
But
I had sneakers on, you know what I mean? But again, it was just roasting session, right? So as a man, like, you be like, you know what? Let me not step out too far because I'm used to getting cooked. And when my wife get dressed, I noticed, like you said, other dudes be looking. I know my wife is fire. I don't want her to I don't want her to stay looking the way she be looking so she don't feel good about herself. But it's like, nah, don't get your head too far in the clouds today.
You guys are.
Hey, because if the women tell me, you should have seen the way she looked at me. There was one of the girls there at the wedding was talking to me, and the way she looked kind of double take, like, y'all having a real conversation, but he dressed up, he feeling himself, he didn't cut his hair, and she asked me to cut my shit. I was like, I might just rock
That's
with
the
what
first thing I told you. I was like, you got a nice
I was only
haircut.
like a week and a half in, I can make it in 2 weeks, but it would have been bad. But it's the same thing. Like, she'll look and see, so we all be playing each other. Because if he got done up and y'all was in the spot and look at her face, she's about to drink.
Go ahead.
But if he got done up, and you know that he don't be doing this all the time, and he got some attention, you gonna low key hate a little bit. You get what I'm saying? So like for men, like I know you fire. Right? Matter of fact, I can't wait till we leave here so I can keep proving to you that I know you fire 5 years later still. Or 7 years for us. We've been together 7 years. It's like, let me prove to you now. I ain't got you. Ain't got to do all this shit. So I agree. Right? You're right. Because in moments where I show y'all, y'all get us at, and I know you've seen this. When you can be a good dad, that's gonna get you. That's guaranteed.
Oh, absolutely.
You watch the
guaranteed as you think.
It is.
It's
But
sexy.
What I meant is like, if you doll yourself all the way up to be, closer to, I guess, whatever the societal norm of beauty is, and everyone's like, hey, everyone thinks she looks great. Everyone thinks he looks great. Blah blah blah. I'm here for the trenches. I'm here for
Why can't you be here for both?
I'm not. It's not that I'm not here for both. The problem is more energy is needed because.
How much energy is needed to say as soon as you see your girl after she's getting ready, right before you guys are heading out, like, damn, babe, you look good. You're fine. You're beautiful. You look cute. I like your outfit. Your hair looks nice. That's not energy.
See, you guys threw me off of my shit because he kept talking so much. Here's what I really meant to say. Because when you had your
and wrap up with this, and you can respond after.
I chose you. You listen. I want to look good for you. I was doing this for you.
That's not what I said, but maybe that's how you heard it.
Okay, my whole thing is like, okay, if it's him, you chose him, and you know him, and he told you, I like this. And you went all the way away from it to make you feel better about how you look. Like me, I'm not a big makeup guy. And so if she come out super caked up, it's like, I can, like, she looks good, but I really like it like here. So I make sure, like, hey, when you wake up in the morning and you just whatever. But
trying
hey,
to like positive reinforcement.
it's not even just, but I'm not lying. I'm not lying about it for the sake of like
He's right,
her
though.
insecurity or the
He's
sake
right.
of her whatever. It's like no, what I say I believe. I'm not gonna tell you some shit.
I understand, but at the same time, why wouldn't you just gas up your woman? We're here to make each other
'Cause then
feel
she
good.
gonna leave.
I'm gonna
It's
tell you
not
why.
that big of a deal.
Sick,
Just to
but-
tell her she looks good.
Hey, you ain't. Hey,
That's
you
my
fuck
last
outta here.
piece. They had the Miss Everybody there at the hotel that we stayed at. So like usually I'm used to seeing these types of women on TV, right? But now that I get to see it, like we in an elevator and I'm looking at them and I'm like, yo, on screen you look great, right? Like, but up
It's
close,
too much.
It's way
Stage
too much.
makeup.
Stage makeup,
Yeah.
the eyelashes, the hair and shit.
Yeah.
And you know, outside of California, they all look like that Texas dry ass hairdo thing. You know what I'm talking about, right? And they do their old, you know what I'm saying? They always and I was like, yo, I was laughing to myself because even how they was talking, I was like, yo, this don't even come across as genuine. I like my women real, like yo, like scrape your knee up, like
No
like,
filter life.
yeah. And so to side with your husband, and also for you, yes, you need balance because when you do get dressed up, you want to be acknowledged. But also take it as a beautiful thing because he loves you when you don't even have to put any effort into it.
Yeah.
And give
I'm
him a
just
little bit
saying.
more than 3 minutes. Maybe you get in the car and be like, "Hey, man, before we get out this car,
Or even at the end, he's like,
I
yo,
tried.
you killing
yo,
him."
because we gotta need a moment where the light hits you and we in the spot and we like, God damn, she fired.
Every time
know what
he's
I mean?
like,
Like-
I was gonna tell you, be patient.
And if I'm watching you, I gotta see it. Like, let me see it outside. You know what I mean? Let me
Yeah,
test
let me see
drive
it.
it.
Y'all
Let me
be
just-
watching.
let
Y'all
me-
be
yeah.
looking.
Hey, 'cause if
Y'all
I'm-
be looking.
And if I start acting up in the spot, then you know that I know you fire. Right? Hey, come here. Let me
You
holler
know,
at you.
literally.
Let me
Come
holler.
over there. Come a
Let
little
me-
bit closer.
Yeah, I don't trust him.
Yeah,
You know?
literally.
Yeah.
Walk that way
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
I
all
saw
right.
him looking at you. Go that way.
Yo, because you know why? He do it too. Because I remember, in the past, somebody would make a comment. He'd be like, hey, yo, watch yourself. He'd be in another Hey, yo, watch
Fucking
yourself.
relax.
Yo, you got to relax.
Relax. Take it easy.
In my hand claps. That's the man way of saying, yeah, I know. I don't play with me.
Yeah.
Then you got to relax.
That's funny.
All right, I had a fire ass question that I fired off for random shit to fill in time, like in the room one night after a few drinks, and I was like, damn, I couldn't remember what it was. But I remember Friday night firmly, and I wanted to talk about how life here in California, we live in a bubble. And it's like literally us, and then New York maybe lives in a bubble, and then it's the rest of the United States, right? Because I ain't never watched TV in Vegas during the political time, right? So they did they do the little the bashing on the commercials, and it's paid for by.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they was like Kamala Harris, a San Francisco liberal. She wants to give illegal immigrants money so that they can live in a peaceful and prosperous life. How dare they? Now, the last part of this, I'm putting a little juice on it, but they definitely said Kamala Harris, a San Francisco liberal.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. So then the rest of the trip, I'm at the point where I don't want to go back to Vegas again, right? Because I'm looking around and I was like, damn. Like, these people here, when they see that, they're not offended by this shit at all. Matter of fact, it speaks to them, right? And so I'm looking at all these people riding them little golf cart, the little scooter things that you get at Ralph's and shit. They ride around in those, And I was like, damn, these are the people that understand. And I was like, yo, why am I here?
Yeah.
Like, for real. Like, why do I even come to these places? Hot as shit. And then the Uber drivers that I got, man, I had one brother, man, he picked us up from the game. And he wanted to make, with my wife being there, and he said he was from LA, so I understand, right? Black and brown relationships don't happen all the time,
Yeah.
right? So we in the car, he didn't know how cool I was. Then he started talking about Nickerson projects. And but see, you knew what I was getting at, because even his face, he know, because you've heard about it in songs. So he just starts talking. Right?
What's up?
And LA people are different too. That's what I need to tell people. Like, yo, if you meet LA people, they talk different. So my man is like my dad's age, and he's letting it fly. He's like, yeah, I grew up in the projects all day. He's like, always some bullshit. He had cameras all around his car. He's like, I drove Uber there. He's like, I'm from LA. I got all this shit. He was like, then I was dating it, and I'm gonna say what he said verbatim. This is not how I be talking, but I want to give it up like that so y'all know. He's like, I was dating this girl, man. Bitch was crazy. Right? And he letting it fly. He like, bitch crazy. He was like, I was gonna kill that bitch, but then she died.
Oh my.
He
Wow.
said, and then he said, God
Lucky
is
me.
good. He said,
Lucky
God-
me.
And he was like, she was crazy. She just get on my nerves. But again, he said that, and he was older, like it was like natural stuff or whatever the case may be. But he's saying that in the way he was talking and shit. I was like, damn, like we are really different, like regionally where we are. And if you understand that, like I know we get mad about political shit and stuff like that, but people's values are just different across the board. You go to Georgia, you see a brother such as myself that talk like me, but he wear camos and fucking hunt deer elk and shit like that, right? I don't identify with these type of black dudes, right? You see Lex or whatever, they be like, yo, this a white man, blah, 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 cool, till he start talking. You like, yo, either bro hung out in East County or he been hanging out, in Southeast County,
Yeah.
and you won't know the difference, but we're all different. So that part just like really fucked with me. It was like, yo, I wonder what it's like in other parts. Like imagine being in Alabama and seeing a Kamala Harris commercial. They probably really letting that shit fly.
Sure.
So like when Trump get on his bullshit or whatever, man, it's like, well, damn, he only speaking to the people that understand that shit in the first place. And if he rally up enough of them, it's going to be all right. So I'm just saying all that to say that I ain't going to be appalled or mad about shit no more. Like when you get outside of our state, which is a safe state, it don't matter if we if we really vote or not, because we have a lot of, liberal people that live in this state in the first place, that we are cemented a blue state. Vegas or Nevada is a swing state, and it operates as such. So, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It is interesting when you go to different regions. Even like in California, in the Central Valley, they call it the Bible Belt of California, and it's extremely conservative.
You ain't never lied.
It's much more cost, the cost of living is a lot less, but it's just like you feel like you're in the Midwest and you're still in Cali. And
they got
so like
sundown towns in there still.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because, you see, like you said, you see the signs, you see the commercials. And for us that are more liberal, democratic, we're not as conservative. It can feel very like jarring.
Yeah.
And then it's crazy because you're actually like, I'm the odd man out, actually. Like in the demographic and the place that I am, like this is acceptable. And this is actually in cahoots of what they believe, or it's fueling already maybe a belief system that's already been embedded. And so for me, it's not that I'm not offended, but it's like, one, it's very jarring and scary to me because like you said, we're kind of in a bubble and sometimes you're like, oh, most people think like how I think. And then you kind of get out there and you're like, oh shit, like, nah, maybe more people are more lean this way more than I thought. And so for me, it's not about like not being offended, but it's about like, just I guess being more open to realizing that people
shit
really
ain't really better than what it was than we thought it was,
and people really exactly, the grass isn't always greener, and people really do have a range of perspectives, and it really is shaped by their upbringing, their surroundings, and their circumstances.
Right. No, absolutely. How do you feel? Like, have you ever been in a Republican space?
Sure.
I've never asked you that. But, like, because you normally hang with us and shit, like... But, like, but you used to... see, there, you had a comb over time.
Oh, my.
And I felt like, yeah, he did. He had the shit...
I can't even imagine
He had
that.
a fade with the... And then he had the shit combed over to the side. And he can still grow his shit.
That's
the
actually
crazy
called
part.
I call that the Prince Charming. That's actually one of my favorite haircuts on a man.
Yeah, see, that was his thing. That
I want to
was
see a picture.
It's... Do you have one?
I don't know.
You have to find me one.
But like, have you ever been in those spaces, and how do you feel when you go there?
So,
Or are you able to code switch?
Do you just
no?
you use your white privilege?
Yeah,
I
they
don't.
be killing me too.
I don't coast with. Well, the thing is, like, I would say the probably closest thing is like certain parts of Riverside when I be up there in San Bernardino. There was a point when I was probably early teen, and part of that side of the family, like I go up there and then like they don't even just like say that shit behind closed doors. They'll be like, yo, they be like, Alex is here, we gotta turn our ghetto buttons on.
Oh
I'm
my!
like, yo, what?
That's crazy.
So when it came to that part of the family, I was always like the black sheep because they're like, look at him, he come in, he got earrings on, he got this hat, he's sagging. you know, he's got fucking, you know, they might have dirty white for Air Force One energy, but my shit got to be crispy. Like he got his little fucking chain and shit.
Yeah,
like
swag.
it's so they would try to code like some of the older people. I wouldn't say they were code switching because they were definitely trying to make fun of me, but they would try to put like a hood twang on their voice. And try to talk to me a certain way.
That's crazy.
And they'd be like, yo, yo, yo. And like, I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's not 92. It's not 92 anymore.
Like,
Black people don't even talk like that anymore.
And it's just, and then I've also been in some spaces, you know, where they were around, whoever they were around, I'm just an observer and I'm doing whatever. And when you're younger, people don't really pay you much mind anyway. And, you know, just like, the M-bombs flying. There's a bunch around. I'm just like, yo, y'all really like this?
That's crazy.
Wild.
And you know, some people would get mad, right, and be like, "Oh, you didn't defend it," but it's like, I seen black people not defend that shit. You know what I mean? Like when the shit fly. Dude was on Dago TV the other day, and he was on camera with 2 Latino dudes. And he was like, "Yeah, say nigga."
And the
and
guy
I'm like,
said
"Fam,
it.
you know what?" I was like, "So
I saw that
if you
shit,
ever feel like you needed to like defend us and something, just know that we also kill ourselves sometimes."
No. I that's happened multiple occasions. There was one time, I guess it had to have been when I was older, that I was just like, y'all gotta stop.
Yeah.
Like, or at least wait for me to leave.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna sit here and just let y'all get this shit off no more.
Well, it's at the point where you're like, you're making me uncomfortable.
And it wasn't even like, oh, all my friends are black. It was just like, y'all sound ignorant as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like so stupid.
But in their mind, they think
Like,
that
y'all
it's like,
are-
that's cool.
they're popping off. Yeah.
Y'all are out here shooting BB guns at beer cans.
You're not cool. I had something happen that I wanted to ask you guys about. Do we have time?
Yeah, we got random shit.
Okay, yeah. So not last week, but the week before, my husband came home from work and it was a rough day, and I hadn't been on. Had I been on the new bike already? He was like, "Oh yeah, I had finally got on his bike that I hadn't ridden on yet." And it was fun. And so he come home a few days later. I had a long night with the kids. We just put him to bed, and he was like, "You want to go for a ride?" And I was like, "Hell yeah! I love riding the motorcycle. That's one of my favorite things to do." And so I just threw on like jeans and like a white like button-up shirt real quick. Put my hair back, and we just left. And so we go to PB, which is like a spot that we like to ride out to, or we even take the kids down there, walk the dog, whatever. And you know how like when you get to Pacific Beach, there's like the wall. Like when you, so you know like right next to the pier, there's that little parking lot.
Yeah.
And then you can walk and there's like the little half ledge. You guys got a visual?
Yeah.
So we pull up. And as soon as, we're on the bike and the parking lot's small, it's just a few feet from the wall. We pull up and I'm like, I see a familiar face, right? Like I'm literally just hopping off the bike and they're standing, this familiar face and the person they're with. And I'm like, okay, like, and I kind of look away real quick, right? And so like my husband's helping me take my helmet off and I'm trying to look, but I'm trying not to make it obvious. And I'm like, fuck, is that who I think it is? And I'm like, okay. So we start like walking like towards the wall and we sit down. And when we sit down, it's a couple. It's a man and a woman. The other couple, they're literally the distance of this chair from us, like 2-3 feet. I look and it's my ex-boyfriend. And it's a significant, it's the ex that you were asking me.
He was looking fire?
I was looking busted. He was looking okay. But it's my ex that you asked was if the other day is my daughter. Yeah. And so it's a significant relationship. We live together. We raised our kids together. And so I'm like, fuck.
Question is, does your husband know who that person is on first look?
No. So my husband, okay, exactly. This is
You're
what
in
I'm
the clear in my book.
This is what I'm going to get to asking you guys. So I'm like, okay, so I'm looking at him and I don't want my husband to be like, are you like him to think like I'm checking out some random black guy because he didn't know that was my ex. He knows about this ex, but not by sight, And so and he's with some girl. He's with some chick who's not his fucking baby mom. I was like, damn, some things never change. But I was like thinking like, you know, in that moment, I was like, fuck, dude. One, I was like, should I like move, you know, because I saw him standing and I'm like, okay, we just sat. They're still kind of standing, but we're literally within damn near arm's reach of each other. Should I tell my husband, let's walk and move? But then I was like, I'm not about to, because he saw me. Like, once I looked, I'm like, this nigga sees me. Like, I'm not about to move because you're here. Like, I'm not going to make you feel like
you ain't got no power over
exactly.
me.
And I felt that like he would have been like, obviously she moved because I'm here. So then he wasn't sitting yet. So I also thought like maybe he'll scoot down some or he'll take his bitch and move down the wall. Nah, he came and sat right down, like I said, literally 2-3 feet away from me. And it's me, my husband, the girl, my ex. And so we're both...
Y'all competing right now.
Yeah. So we're like literally like, we're, you know,
That's funny.
I'm facing my man and he's facing his girl. So we're like...
looking at each other.
Exactly.
I would have gave up.
And I'm like, is this mother like fucker not gonna speak to me? First of all, let me rewind.
What were they even talking about?
I don't, you know, I was trying to kind of low key ear hustle,
Yeah,
but then me and my husband were also talking, so I was like, it felt so like, because I was like, should I tell
Shit
him?
probably felt like forever.
It did, and I was like, should I tell him right now? But I didn't want him to like feel some type of way, or I didn't want him to start looking.
I don't think you should have told him at all.
I did end up, so I was gonna ask you guys I have about 3 questions. Long story short, yeah, we end up sitting there and we both sit there, we both talk, and we don't acknowledge each other. I seen this man, maybe like, we've been broken up for almost, 10 years now. And about 5 years in, we ended up meeting up and having drinks and kind of having like a, I don't know, settling of things.
Let's see how this goes.
And that was it. You know, he definitely tried to make some moves, but luckily I had set up a date after him.
So you had
intentionally, so I had somewhere to be, so I wouldn't end up with him. Exactly. And then maybe a year or so ago, we had a little bit of contact where we were just like kind of touching base. I think I had asked him, I don't want to give out what he does.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, I had asked him something, and I guess he didn't know I was married. So, like, at first he was being cool, and then my husband came up in conversation, and then he got weird and was like, oh, like, I thought you were, like, a good girl. And I was like, what are you saying, dog? Like, you're making it weird. And so, and at that point, I was like, okay, like, we need to have we both were kind of like, no, you know?
Right.
So when I seen him, I would have said hello. I would have spoken. I would have said hi, you know. I might have even like introduced them out of like just a respect, or like, I'm like, dog, we lived, how are we going to acknowledge like we don't know it? That's weird to me. But then I just kind of followed his cue. So as we were getting onto the bike, I told my husband, I was like, the people sitting next to us, I was like, don't look. I was like, but that's like my ex, that blah, 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 blah. And he kind of like did a look, and then that was that. And he didn't ask a question. He didn't say nothing about it.
Sounds about right.
And so my question is, one, would you have, I have 3 questions. One, first, would you guys have never, like, would you have just moved as soon as you recognized, oh shoot, this is my ex and they're with somebody, like, I'm gonna just guide my partner further down away from the area? Would you have moved? 2, if you didn't move, would you have spoken even if they didn't speak to you? Would you have said hello? And 3, would you have told your partner or not? You guys got the questions?
I got them.
Okay.
I would have moved.
Okay.
If I'm thinking about the women that like my wife knows about, then yeah, I would have moved. Because that
by sight or just by story, it doesn't matter.
And see, I don't want to say this on here. I don't want to say that on
okay.
I don't want to say how. But she like knows of them too, right? In that fashion. And so because of that, I'd be like, you know what? For her sake, I'm not going to do this. Now, if I was by myself or whatever, then I wouldn't move. Or I was with the homies, not by myself. But if I was like with my, boys or something like that,
yeah.
Can't think of any reason why I'd be at PP by myself down there.
But if you were in a spot by yourself and you happen to see an ex with somebody,
I'd say something. I'd be like, even if they were with somebody, I would just like, look, let me just let you know it's not weird. I would have never waited for them to do it. I would have been like, what's good? You all right?
Yeah.
Cool. And then third, I mean, I tell my wife, like, if I do run into somebody, I've made practice of that now because whenever she finds out about something, it gets like 10 times magnified.
Absolutely.
So it's like, it's not even fucking.
And that's kind of how I was too thinking of it. Like, I better just, what if it comes up later? Or, let me just say it right now.
Yeah, I would tell, if it's someone that she knew, or I would explain it to her in a way that like, oh, someone that I used to mess with or whatever, this was like, I guess I would say something. But not like looking for an answer out of her to answer to. Just like, yo, actually that did happen. So my daughter had to go to the hospital maybe 2 years ago. Like we went to urgent care.
Okay.
And so there was a girl that I used to date or mess with.
Yeah.
That was a nurse.
Oh shit. Okay.
But I didn't know that she worked at like that urgent care. I knew she worked in the hospital in the emergency room. But I get there, it's during COVID too. So, now we get there. Now you got a girl that like.
Is she handling your daughter's care or
Yes.
she just in, oh, okay. Ooh, this is good.
Yeah, like she.
You gotta say something. She taking care of my baby?
Yeah,
Some bitch you fucked is caring for my baby? I need a new nurse. As I needed to know as soon as you beat the girl.
She was cool when I told her. Who knows if she was boiling on the inside?
It is urgent care.
Yeah.
I need a new one.
This is all we got. You schedule an appointment.
I guess we're coming back.
You ain't that sick.
Guess we going to. I'll spend the extra $40 at the ER.
There's another urgent care across town. Let's fucking go.
That's crazy. You gotta leave.
Shit.
Yeah, that's true. Cause like, okay, when you pay.
Did you fuck her?
Yeah, she been in this house too.
Yeah. See, I don't.
Well, 'cause I lived at home during the time, and so like she would come over here and stuff like that. So I was like, damn. And the way she looked at my daughter, because
okay, yes, keep going. This is too good.
So the reason why she and I were no longer together at the time, right? I don't think I've ever verbalized this. Like a part of me knew it wasn't gonna work because
oh god,
she was white, right? So get this shit out of the way, right?
Okay,
but
okay.
like white, like we were like going on boat trips and fucking like when I say boat, like her friend owned a boat and like they drink Budweiser. I was like, yo, this shit is not gonna work, right? We go play music in the car. This is why I tell that joke. I'm like she played music in the car and it's like fucking some shit that I wouldn't necessarily listen to. You got one seat back, the other one's like high up. I was like, nah, this is like fitting way too much of the stereotype right now, right? I said, can't do it. But she ended up breaking up with me because her mother got sick. Oh. And then I didn't hear from her again. We didn't have mutuals. I met her at like Beer Fest or something. Me and Duran we used to do wild shit. Yeah.
So you had never seen each other until you walked into urgent care that day.
I hadn't seen her in about at that point for 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the way she looked at my daughter was kind of like, like, damn.
That could have been me.
What if we stayed the course?
Yeah, she had that.
But
that
not
thought.
knowing that I probably would have found a way out of there in the first place. But it was just like, and she like had this like she wanted to cry type of look. And I was just like, but then.
Over you?
I think this is the situation.
Like what could have been.
Yeah,
like that
or
even
moment. Bring it because like now that
she
we
ain't
know that
nobody
women.
Since.
No, I don't know about that, but I'm saying like even knowing how women think though, because like her mom had cancer.
Yeah.
Right, so that can bring her back to like a dark space in the first place. Not even thinking on some like, yo, Carl's the best thing that ever happened.
Just remembering that
time. Yeah,
because
she never hit me up. Yeah, she was older than me a little bit too, so it's like she was grown and mature about it, And then handle my daughter with care, and then we went on to the next station.
Okay, so you see her. When did you tell your wife and what?
Day of.
Like as soon as you saw her.
Because even then, like my daughter, like kids tell the truth, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, I don't want to start the habit of being the dad that has your kids lying for you and shit like that. So like, I don't know what my daughter would say later on, what she would remember. Like, oh, Dad remembered this girl, and they were talking.
Wifey wasn't with you at urgent care. You were by yourself.
Exactly.
Okay, I missed that because I was like, what is she? So
no. Yeah, I was by myself. So like, and that being said, like, I have to say something.
Yeah, you didn't call her though. You weren't like, hey, so I got to urgent care and our nurse is.
That's not that important to call her though. Now I wait till I get to the home. You want to know, like?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Oh, I would have absolutely. Hey, our nurse is so and so. I put my dick in her. Is it okay if she still cares for her?
That's crazy. I can't do that. I could
I'm gonna just have to be in trouble then.
Yeah.
Nah. I'm waiting.
So you guys wouldn't feel no type of way if
I'm
I was like,
I
was like, hey, it's urgent care. By the way, the nurse, I sucked his dick and he ate my pussy and he knows what I taste like. Is it like you wouldn't care?
First of all, why you gotta do that?
Because that's what he did. That's
No,
what we did.
that's how you heard it. That's not what he said. He did not. I guarantee he didn't say none of that shit to her.
No, but I'm saying that's the reality of the situation.
Because that's how you.
But you know what?
I'm saying, like, if I'm calling my man.
But we've all had our shit taken out of context to how she just said it.
I'm not saying don't tell me, but if you come home and tell me, I'll be like, oh, that's crazy. But I'm also thinking, hey, you're at urgent care. Not much you can do about it. Yeah. It's like the whole, hey, you cheated on me in my dream. I'm mad at you in real life type shit.
I'm not saying I'm mad. I'm just
I didn't
saying.
Say, ooh, it's not.
She wants the heads up.
I want a heads up. And honestly, I want to know if I'm comfortable with that or not.
I'm probably going to die on the
It's not rush hour where a curtain opens. I want that nurse right
there.
And
it's not the emergency room. It's urgent care. There's a few minutes where you can call me and let me know that the person that is taking care of my child you have been intimate with, and if I'm comfortable with that, like that's my boundary.
Well,
that's something that would be important to me.
I'm so glad we did this.
I'm not saying like your wife wasn't tripping, and you're saying it's not. For me, that is something that I would want ran by me. If it's not a life or death situation, obviously if my baby's bleeding out, you're in the ER. I'm not. But if we're in urgent care, we got a sore throat. Like, yeah, you can give me the heads up. So and you're see saying how the fact
that your child is there changes things versus being affected by it, right? Because the one thing that you can poke a hole in what I'm about to say is the fact that your child wasn't there, but your child had met this gentleman before.
No, I'm saying the fact that this person is like caring for my child.
That's what I'm saying.
And they have seen me in intimate positions, and that is kind of like because it's like, yeah, like you've been intimate with my man, and now you've also cared for my child, and I don't know.
What if you needed doctor help, and then you ran into like the nurse?
I would be
leave?
like.
No. If you personally went to the doctor and the nurse that helped you turns out she messed with your husband.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't accept care from them.
Oh shit.
No, like if I happen to recognize, I'm like, oh, that's my husband's ex-girlfriend. Like I recognized her picture, and I wouldn't be comfortable receiving care from her, especially if she knew who I was or who she would find out after me, because I don't know what she's saying to her friends, to her family, like, oh, I helped so and so's ex, and just that's like
women don't like to be looking crazy though. That right there is a moment
so personal. Of like my medical care, like my business like that, like. There's no way.
Well, luckily she was like the nurse that comes get you, like not the one that was like at the desk.
Performs the care.
She wasn't in we weren't in the room with her. Matter of fact, I think she like just like had asked her some questions like, yo, go to your main doctor.
Like the pre.
It was outside. It wasn't like we weren't in a room. You know what I mean? We were in the little tent.
If my husband called and said like, yeah, okay, it was just the pre-nurse. She did all this stuff. I'd be like, all right,
there we go. Yeah,
but if she's fucking, if she's taking measurements, if she's writing prescriptions, if she's touching you or my baby.
Nah, that wasn't. No, we had a regular doctor. Yeah.
And your dick was in her mouth at some point.
Did you know Daddy like white women?
They were reminiscing.
I ain't gonna know now. This black box, we don't know how long it's gonna last. Like it'd be 80 years. Like, yo, they got a lot of shit on here.
Oh, they're gonna love this stuff when we're done.
That never came up with you, has it?
A nurse?
Anyone?
Oh,
that you ran into?
Oh yeah, answer my.
But I feel like your exes know that, like.
Or my 10-year high school reunion was interesting.
Was it?
But,
So would you have moved? Would you have said hello? And would you have told your significant other?
I think it's different. I don't want to gender it out either. But I think asking me, it's like same way as it's like, yeah, I'm going to move because it's probably going to make her uncomfortable, even if I think this shouldn't be an uncomfortable position. But remember, my
husband didn't know who he was. So it's not like he...
Right, but as a man, I would want to know. Now, you eventually told us, I was like, damn, you didn't tell him at all? But then once you said, oh, so you're leaving, I'm like, all right, that's fine. But yeah, I need to know. Not that I'm going to sit here and like size him up and do whatever, but I do need to know.
I should have probably told him like when I recognized it. Should I have given him the option of like, as soon as we pulled up off the bike, like, hey, babe, that's my ex. Do you want to scoot down more? Or?
Probably. But if I was him and you told me, when you told me as we were leaving and I'm assessing the situation, like, okay, I think it's more, I need to know right then and there if there was an interaction. like, hey, like
if I
Because
would have said hello.
I need to know, like, not even on some like, I was gonna introduce them to be. I need to know before I get introduced.
Yes.
This is who it is, and then you can introduce, and I'm gonna be fine.
But
if I'm finding out during
as
the
you
introduction, I'm
introduce
like,
me,
I'm gonna choke this bitch out.
Wait till we get home.
Oh my god!
Bitch, luckily you're on the bike, so you got a few more minutes.
But yeah, I would have moved, and then I would have said, "Oh yeah, we're moving. You know, this is who that is," and you know.
Would you have said hello then? Like, we're moving. This is who that is, and would you have said hello to them or no?
Probably not.
I would usually probably do the cue, but I mean, I don't need to be weird. I can give you at least a head nod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't even that.
Because also, just because I think a certain way as a man doesn't mean your man might not be crazy and there's on some other bullshit.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't need to be blowing up your spot. I don't give a fuck. Like, you ain't whatever.
Nah, you don't. I think even if I think I would have told him right then and there, he wouldn't have wanted to move, and he probably
but some
wouldn't
men
have cared.
they can be extremely territorial. They be create like it ain't even got to be like this.
Yeah,
like, it ain't even like that.
But I do think you're right. I think that if I had just like introduced him as I told him I'm sure I would have gotten a look or a conversation like, bitch. Like,
you know what? Now that we on this, I did come up with something else, and now that kind of brings me into this since we're talking about some shit like this. But I was talking to my wife about this, like, in the hotel. Like, could y'all get married again? Like, if this shit didn't work out?
I don't think so.
So, like, I'm going to be real. I'll go ahead and jump out on the ledge first. And we're going to save him for third.
Yes or
Let
no?
him cook.
No. So, being at the wedding yesterday and, like, just, like, seeing, like, all the people and the effort you have to put into it brought me back to, like, what I had to do for my shit.
But a wedding and a marriage is different. So, are you saying would you forfeit? Like,
yeah, it sounds like you just don't want to have another wedding.
Exactly.
I don't want to have another wedding. Yeah, if I ever had to get married again, I'd do a courthouse.
But you would get married again.
But it is two different questions.
I don't know. I don't know if I would get married again either, though.
But you definitely wouldn't have another wedding.
No,
okay.
I wouldn't have another one because you have to do. Because I remember, like, I don't want to be the guy where they be like, "Yo, this motherfucker said that shit the first time, right?"
Because I'm inviting pretty much the same people.
One more time, run it back, everybody.
My wedding songs like, guess who's back? Back again.
Think I got it right this time. I think I got it right.
It'd be like that, honestly.
Because I think about the dudes
and
that
why
I meet.
not celebrate getting it right?
Nah.
We do that at the house. Like, we get some punch. That's
Backyard boogie?
Yeah, we doing something like that. Something simple if I had to, right?
But how does that make your second wife feel? Like, damn, your first wife got all this, and I get fucking.
Hey man, you just
ain't gotta say yes.
Hopefully, if that was the case, right? Like, and it's not, because me and my wife, I told her, hey, you ain't
You're
going
locked
nowhere.
in. Yeah.
Even if, but even if you thought, right? I'll drop the 80.
I remember those jokes.
I'll drop the 80.
I remember those jokes.
Yeah. But I stand firm in that because it's like, I feel like the dudes that don't have wives and shit, they just way more peaceful, right? Like, in terms, for real, like it is like it's a commitment being with someone, right? Like, even for my wife, like, it's like, yo, the single girls or the ones or the dudes that aren't as like invested, like, they seem to have a little bit more freedom and be free, right? Versus being tethered of, I gotta cook for this person, I gotta make sure I go back home and do this, or they ask me to do that. When you're not, like, married like that, you don't feel the obligation to help somebody like that. And because I'm giving 110% in my current marriage, I don't feel like I could do 110. I can maybe do 85, right?
Yeah.
For someone else. And whoever I'm with has to accept that because I have kids too. So it's not, I'm forever tethered with this person, right?
Oh,
so I
man.
can never give you 110%, right? So it's like, I just can't, because the way my life is set up and the choices that I made, I just can't. I can't even give right now my wife 110% because she's got to get about 85 to 90 because I got to give the other 15 to pour into our kids.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the truth, right? Like, anybody who's with me has to understand that, like, you can't get what they got.
Yeah.
This was a time period where I was able to do that, and because for some other reason that shit didn't fucking work out, right? I'm with you, and when I'm with you, that's my time with you, and I'd give that to you if that was the case. But I still owe them something. Yeah. No matter what. Yeah. So. I know. Third. Or not at all.
I might have to hold this one.
You can skip up out of there, but go ahead. It's cool.
You gonna go?
You could. Hey, that sounds like.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. But go ahead, Jay. What you think? Could you get married again?
Absolutely not. I don't think I could do it again. And my husband always jokes. He says, I'm actually my husband's third wife. Fun fact.
How do you know what the first wedding was like?
Yeah, the first two weddings were big. So his first, and this was when he was like a millionaire in Turkey, in his country. So his first wife he was with for 10 years. And that's who he has his son with, his oldest son with my stepson. And he said actually the first 5 years of their relationship was amazing. And they like never argued. They had so much fun.
That information?
No type of way.
Okay.
But you know what he said? That's when they were rich. So he says, I always joke like, you found me when you were poor. I wish you would have found me when you were rich. I'm like, damn, those bitches got. And my husband claims like that's part of his part of being romantic is his act of love is giving gifts.
Yeah.
And so, these bitches got cars and jewelry. And so he almost doesn't know how to be romantic on a poor level. And I'm like, I need you to learn. Because your excuse that you can't go buy a diamond or you can't go buy a car, I don't care. That's not the reality we live. But anyways,
in America, that might work in Turkey though. it might work there, and I'm gonna try the pronunciation because I seen it on the jersey.
Yeah, they switched it, so they actually they don't want anyone to say Turkey. But yeah, no, he always jokes that. So yeah, he was married first time 10 years after they had their son. It went downhill, and then his second wife, he says he got like kind of bullied and like kind of manipulated into marrying her. That he really liked the relationship.
Was that her first marriage?
That was her first marriage, and her dad was dying, and they had dated for maybe like a year or two. And he said that like literally he went to dinner with her mom and her sister, and they were like, her dad wants to see her get married, and kind of the guilt trip.
The homie going through that right now.
Yeah, that literally like he kind of felt, and that was like, I think the first wedding was like a 300 person, the second one was like a 200 person, and then that marriage didn't last very long. By the time they came to the States, they ended up like breaking up long after. But so he always jokes to me that he's like, I give you 5 years. He's like, I give you 5 years that you'll put up with me, that you'll stay married with me.
That's
like
trauma,
we'll be married 3 years in September.
And
so we all, literally. So we always kind of joke. He's like, you're about to meet your quota. But I tell him, like, I just couldn't do it again. Like, even like, sometimes when I hear the way like single men talk, I'm like, damn, like my man, I've shared kind of you guys what some of the real shit I go through in my marriage.
Right.
Even knowing that, hearing some of the things I hear like single men say, I'm like, the grass ain't greener. I'm like, that's my man. I'm gonna stick beside him.
Women, though.
I'm like, I can't imagine starting over and learning how you do things and how you maneuver and feeling comfortable enough with myself to be my true self and putting in that effort, that energy. Like you said, they're never gonna get the same amount of energy that the first marriage got.
You're right.
I even think one step further. I don't even know if I would continue to date men if me and my husband didn't work out. I think that I would start dating women.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's something I share with my husband too. I'm like, not only are you my...
Oh, no, I would take that.
No, that's what I want to hear. Yeah. That's exactly what I want to hear. You goddamn right you gonna be dating women.
You ain't never have another dick again.
You're goddamn right.
You're right. That's probably why it doesn't bother him. No, literally.
You're goddamn right. I might use that one.
I can do it.
That might trump seasoned vet.
Yeah.
Goddamn right. Yo, that's funny.
Yeah, so I think I could have like another like partner, but I don't think I could. And I got married in the courthouse. I didn't have a wedding. And I never had aspirations to get married. I never like thought about that. I never fantasized about a wedding. But I would like maybe, I don't know. I also think like I could put that money towards this. So I have a hard time thinking like my mind thinks like that.
I'm going to take us to a dark place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Go ahead.
All right.
I like dark.
I don't think that I understand like if this was that person's first time and I understand it, don't let me rob that from you.
Yeah.
But if I set the boundary of where I'm at and you're okay with it, then we gotta roll with it, and I can't hear about it years later.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is that dark? That's just grown.
Yeah, no, and me and my husband did talk about that. He was like, he would like to have he's done the big, huge wedding. So he doesn't want a big reception at some point. And I don't either. I would want something more intimate but something where we could celebrate
It's dark
with others.
It's dark because when you say shit like that, it feels like you're undercutting someone else's experience.
But this is why you handle that stuff early. So now that I'm in this position, these are first date conversations for me.
Yeah, like I think if I went back now and I told my husband, like, I really want us to have a 300, person reception at some point, he would be like, I told you I wasn't doing that again.
And I'm going to sleep peacefully knowing I fucking already said that shit.
And you already said that you understood that and you were okay with that you just wanted this. So I think that is fair. But also, I do think that in relationships, like, there has to be time to grow. So maybe at the time, even now, like, I think I still want something more intimate. But maybe there will become a point in time, if we make it past 5 years, where I'm like, I want a big-ass party. Like, I would hope that he would be open enough to at least be willing to discuss it versus like, I already told you I already did this. We already decided we weren't going to do this and shut me down right away.
I think you should always be open to grow into something.
Yeah.
But if this is where I'm at and I'm still there.
And we already agreed on it.
I'm sleeping peacefully.
It needs to lay.
Because like the marriage question is like, right now I'm so fresh and in this moment it's like, hard. No, fuck that, I ain't never getting married.
Yeah.
For the exact reasons he's talking about.
Yeah.
Because hey, whether I want to or not, I gotta see and interact with this person forever. And that takes up whatever bandwidth, whatever I can give to you, you gotta cut a chunk out.
Yeah.
And not just that, but then I not just the marriage, but I'm also like, I'm not having no other kids. And that's when I'm way more firm on than a marriage.
Really?
Right? So it's more
done.
Yeah. I was mad. I thought we was all getting snipped together. We had a pack and they don't want to get it done. I was like, I ain't even got my appointment set up.
You're done having kids, but would you date a woman who had children? And would they have to be a certain age?
So
because I think about that, like I have twins. I'm like, if I left my man, no man's taking me.
I thought going into this, I was like, I feel like I'm in the age bracket where it's pretty much I have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And
but there are,
I found myself not having to deal with that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, that's cool because fuck them kids. Because my kids take up so much bandwidth. It's more like, So I don't think I could go super, at least right now, because it's like, hey, I barely got enough time.
But your partner would have to be okay with, if they didn't already have kids, they would have to be okay with not having any biological children. You'd have to be okay with that,
and then it's this already real conversations that have already been had. It's been like, hey, this is where I'm at, and I don't want none of that. If you're one of those like, I can change them and do this, or are you open to, like, I'll say I'm open to it because never say never. But I'm pretty fucking firm on it. And I'm going to schedule this appointment at some point. I have a lot of other shit going on right now. But once I get a little more time, I'm like, hey, that appointment? I should probably do that.
I feel you on that, though. I can't have any more kids.
No.
That's the other thing, right? Because, like, even now people are like, you want to have another one? No. Like,
the amount of time I put into these two, I can't keep doing that.
I can't do it again either.
I'm not doing it again.
My husband.
I can't do it again. Like, it's
he said he'd leave me if we had more.
For real?
He said, don't do it.
Man.
I'll leave you.
I feel you. I feel you. That shit is rough.
I thought I was done too, and I was supposed to have my tubes tied when I had my C-section, but because I ended up having the twins a month early, I think I shared this, the paperwork, it has to process for 30 days. And it hadn't processed because I went into early labor. So they weren't able to tie my tubes. So I am on birth control. I'm on an IUD, which is it's a birth control that they implant into your uterus. And it can last for 5 to 10 years for people who don't know. But, I thought like I was done having kids. I was adamant about having my tubes tied. But now that like I have to go back and schedule it, I can't remember if I'm 35 or 36, but there's something about that kind of finalizing that I'm like, a little bit anxious about, even though I literally don't want to have, like, I can't imagine it. But I asked my husband, I was like, what if we were rich? Like, what if we got to the point where we were rich, we could hire him? He said the same thing. I was like, we could hire a maid, we could hire a nanny, like, we could have
kids
support.
To grow up like that.
He was like, nah, we're done. And I'm almost like, if I could have more support services, like, if I could have a housekeeper or stuff, I could do another kid, and I secretly would want another set of twins. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
I'm
but that's a
fucking
woman
crazy.
thing. Like, so, like, my wife got
But
her,
I won't have any more.
My wife got her tubes tied, and she told me the other night, she's like, I had a dream that I was pregnant. I said, I don't know why you dreaming. like, that shit
make sure that shit's still
And if we broke up, I'd probably go get a vasectomy. Because I also think about my kids. Like, I joke around with them, and I'm like, oh, we about to have a little brother. Then, dude, it's enough already. I already got to split the PlayStation. You know?
Dude.
Like now we got to go to another practice. Like, yo,
Dude.
I'll be old. You do it on your own.
3 kids is wild.
That's what I'm saying.
3
Salute to you,
kids
and you
is
got like
wild.
different age groups. So it's
Yeah, the teens and the toddlers.
yeah, whoever I'm with though, they just if that was the case, like they would just have to accept it. If not, then I'm just gonna be a player for life.
I
See,
wish
like-
you would have asked this earlier, because I feel like I could have really went in with this one. I'm gonna hold it.
Okay.
There you go. That
Hold
yeah.
it. But I think about
Earlier
that too,
in the
though.
pod.
Yeah.
Oh, how?
Huh?
How?
You talking about hour and a half? What are we
Man,
at
we
right
went
now?
through the whole probation. I was like, yo, nah, no, it's all good. It's all good. Let's get up
yeah.
out of here, man.
Okay, let's
do
wrap
it.
it.
Let's do it. Let's
Bye.
do it. You're not trying to get home super late. I ain't gonna say what time we be out here.
Mm.
But I gave y'all 2 again. I told you it always happens. But I cut it 30 minutes earlier than what I normally would have did. 3 cheers. Anything y'all want to 3 cheers on?
I want to 3 cheers on. Nope, I don't got nothing, I guess.
My friend, and you know him also, Jamar is actually going to be inducted into the Helix Hall of Fame on Friday.
Yeah, I shared that
Yeah,
flyer.
so he's going to be there. So talked to him yesterday. He's going to be doing a lot of ripping and running. I saw him in the airport too, leaving out today. But yeah, he's going in the Hall of Fame. Game's at 7:00 Friday at Helix. If you're a previous Helix alumni, come watch him. That's pretty special. I don't remember the last person we even retired. And I can't miss it. I got to figure out something with this baseball shit, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go too, actually.
Reggie? Oh, yeah, but that's still a long
And
time.
what's his name too? Tule.
Oh, Toy Lolo? They're going to do his too?
I think so. I
They
saw
don't
the
have no
picture next
jersey
to him.
numbers left.
And then what's his name? Who I think just passed away. I can't think of his name. But yeah, there's 3 of them, and that is gonna be that. Shout out to Jamar. Once a Scotty, always a Scotty.
Absolutely.
He does
Who
great
passed
things.
away?
Some white guy.
Old?
Yeah, older.
Not Van Hook.
No.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute,
I'll
wait.
send you the flyer. But yeah, no.
Wait a minute.
Do you know who?
You're not wait, I feel like we've already retired his number. Bill Walton?
No.
Okay, I was about to say.
No.
I feel like they should have did that years ago if they just now did it. Wait a minute.
No, that would be fun though. Jamar, he does the camps, right?
Yeah, he does. He
and
still
those,
does them.
And those are those free for the
Yeah,
community?
but they start selecting now. Sometimes you do community stuff, you get community problems, but he starts selecting kids from different high schools that play defensive back positions, I believe, and then goes from there. But it is for the community, and I think he does some random selections, but of like having kids just come out, because he's real generous in that regard.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you seem genuine and want to help, he'll help anybody. So.
Yeah, so shout out to him and congrats to him. That's exciting.
Absolutely. Lex? There you go. All right. Shout out to that Jack Mac.